review the survey. I'm just trying, it should be between weeks 3 and 4, October. Yep. All right, so let me share my screen really quick. And if you guys can follow along with me and do this, it only should take like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. So if you're online now, and all I did was I clicked on modules here to the left, and I went down, scroll all the way down past week 3, and then you'll see it here. It says student survey. And if you can click here, and then you'll, oh, where's the survey? Open a new window, I guess. Okay, I guess you have to
Yeah,
open
you
a
have
new window.
to open a new window to get it.
Yeah. And so, hey, where's my name? There I am. Why'd they put me last? Yes, okay. There's my name there. And it's anonymous, so don't worry. It's not like I get to see it or anything. Just click on that, and if you could and then choose what class you're in. And if you can do the survey really quickly, they keep track of how many students per class do the survey. So that'd be great if you can do that really quickly for me. I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So, and then if you could just come back and give me a quick thumbs up, that lets me know how many people are done. Go ahead, Corey.
What was the participation assignment for yesterday's attendance?
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet.
Oh, okay, I
So,
apologize.
no, it's a great question. Um, as soon as we're done with the survey, we'll do it. Yes, go ahead. Go
Where
ahead,
was the
Fernandez.
where was the survey located again? Sorry, I was kind of distracted.
Yeah, so if you go to, let me just show you. If you go to ugh, out of the way. So if you go to modules, and then once you click on modules, you have to scroll down past week 3, and then it's right there between week 3 and week 4. Right here it says student survey, and then if you click on it, you have to once you click on it here, then you have to click on where it says open. And then you just choose my name and choose your class, and then I think it's only a few questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just come back and give me a quick thumbs up when you guys are done so I can see where we're at with that. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and, thank you, open up your attendance from yesterday. And for attendance for today and yesterday, I'll leave it open until 5, just to give people time to do both. It shouldn't take that long, but okay, so see, sometimes I forget to put the little shortcut. So let me put that shortcut back. I don't want anyone to say, where is it at? Little modules really quick. Let me see. Uh, So annoying. All right. Insert. Do week 4. Okay. 5. And just put a little shortcut to your conference question. Yeah, 2 more minutes, guys, and then we'll get started. Make sure every class has the shortcut. Oh. Did anybody hear what Amazon had to say for why they had the issue? Did y'all know that's what happened?
Canvas was just saying Amazon, whatever, what is it called? Amazon Web Services was just down. I'm not exactly sure why, but they were just saying it was down and it was interrupting Canvas.
Yeah, I was interrupting a lot of other sites too.
They were trying to say it had something to do with their data center somewhere. I forget where it was, Virginia or somewhere. But, that just goes to show, Amazon, there's only 3. What? Amazon, I think, Microsoft, and somebody else that houses what we call cloud-based systems. Um, that's nothing more than you guys see how we're all able to, be on this system at the same time. It's just because LMS Canvas is being housed on a huge server that's ran by Amazon. So if something happens to that server, like it's just like if you were at your job and something happened to the computer server, it just affects your job. But if something happens to their server, it affects every single corporation that's using that server. And that's what happened. Something happened. They didn't, I don't know if they ever figured out why, but that is the risk. You know, these huge corporations, they get so greedy. They want everybody using their system. That's kind of like those 3-in-1 deals with your cable company. But then what happens? What they don't tell you is what if you don't, pay one service, it cuts off every service. That's what it used to do anyway, I think. But, there's a risk with having everything, all your eggs in one basket. I don't even put all my money in one bank. I don't trust anything that gives someone access to something that belongs to you and you have no control over it. So I'm just adding in this last link for the last class here, then we can get started. And thank you guys for doing that for me. Right, so our week 4 shortcut. Um, link in here, then we can view. All right, and so I'll adjust the due dates too for Thursday. I'll give everybody until Thursday to get things turned in, but it it won't be Thursday at 10, guys, because I still have to close out the class, but I'll try to give you Thursday midday at least. I think you should be fine. So I've just added in the link and then I'll adjust the due date once we're done with class. We'll be done in a few minutes. Just want to make sure everybody had that shortcut link. All right, so let me go ahead and share for today's chapter 13. We'll just talk a little bit about it, then we'll move to chapter 14. So in chapter 13, like I said before, just discuss your first day on the job. And it just talks about, we know when we first start a job, we don't really feel like we're ready for it. Nobody does, not to scare you, but even your own doctor, Can you imagine being a doctor and your first client and they don't know that they're the first client? That could be pretty scary, even though they get a lot of practice and they do residency and all that kind of stuff. Like, that can be pretty scary. Has anyone ever had a doctor like in a training class, like you're in the hospital, and then all of a sudden all these people just show up in your room? You're like, what's going on here? In their little class or whatever. Has that ever happened to anyone? And they don't even ask for permission. The nerve, right? That's happened to you, Ari. I also see something here. What's going on?
I'm sorry. It was when I had a discectomy and they were currently having students with the surgeon come in and talk about the surgery that they were
Right.
doing on me.
And Kay and Dominique, what are y'all typing down here? What are y'all doing? Yeah, just trying to see that it works.
Yeah.
Okay, stop doing that. Okay, stop doing that because
Simple.
it's distracting, and I can see it on my screen. All right, so yeah, that's letting you know the chat works. Okay, I'm glad to see that. Okay, all right, so yeah, and I was like, that happened to me once right after I got pregnant, and all these people showed up in my room, scared the crap out of me. I was like, hello, permission, please. Right. But apparently they don't need your permission to do that. But anyway, but like I said, the first day on the job is always going to be awkward. It's always going to be like, okay, what do I do? You're going to be in a foreign environment. You don't know what everything is. But just rest assured that if they did not feel that you had the credentials to be there, you wouldn't be there. So don't feel any kind of way about that, right? All right. And see, I'll stop typing before because it's distracting. All right. I'm gonna turn it back off. All right. So with the first day on the job, we know that's overwhelming. You know you're gonna have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. We know that. Make sure you know, hey, my friends, also make sure you find out where you're supposed to be on that first day. Because sometimes on the first day, you're supposed to be somewhere you're not, especially if you're working off site, but you have to do onboarding. So they want you at the main campus. Make sure you know where you're going, right? Um, Also, you know, again, most of you guys are not remote workers, but you may have to fill out some remote work from home. You never know. So, again, ask those questions. There's probably going to be a lot of training going on. Make sure you bring all your documents with you. And that's important because you get really excited on the first day and then it's like, wonk, 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 because you're going to spend 2 days just dealing with HR. That's always annoying. But one thing I do want you guys to think about, use this time wisely. If you're going to be spending the first couple of days onboarding, my friends, that is the time to ask questions. Let me tell you, you only have a couple of weeks to be the new person. Y'all know how that goes, right? So everything that you want to know, make sure you're asking during that time, especially if they give you onboarding training with HR. Things that you had not thought about asking previously, ask now. Here's some questions on the screen. Everything from the hours, who to call in case of emergency, if there's any technical computers, will I get a laptop? How does that work? Where do I get it from? Who's the IT guy? Like chapter 13 just talks about all these different questions that you want to make sure that you ask. Do not assume that your buddy at your the job will know, they're not going to always know about the healthcare benefits and the 401k plan and all that kind of stuff. Maybe they don't even use it. Maybe they use their spouses, right? So don't assume that you can start asking all these questions from your supervisor. And sometimes, guys, they don't like it, to be honest with you. They're like, didn't you get that from HR? Right? So, make sure you ask those questions now. Anything that you want to know, use that time to ask those questions. All right. When do you update your professional network? Now, it's up to you. Listen, it's up to you. Some people update their LinkedIn account saying, oh, look at me, I got my job, and they're really excited about that. Some others of us wait it out. I don't like to update my LinkedIn until at least 30 days in, sometimes 60 days in. I want to make sure it's the job I'm going to be at. Who wants that type of embarrassment? You're saying, oh, I got this job, and it turns out you don't have that job or it didn't work out for you, whatever the case may be. I always like to work it out, stick it out a little bit before I just update it. A lot of people just update and say, hey, look at me in my new job. I mean, do whatever you want to do. But at some point, you do want to update it. Why do you want to do that? Number one, not just to say, oh, look at me, I got a new job, and to let your network know where you are. But sometimes people want to connect with you and you get more connections. If you're working at this new company, and there's other people that may work at that company, they want to connect with you. There's other people that, are interested in that company and they want to connect with you. And that's one way to build your connections. Remember, connections are key. So there you go with that. Now, you didn't hear from me, but little birdie told me that LinkedIn is about to have some competition. I don't know if y'all heard about that in IT world. Because right now LinkedIn doesn't have any competition, but they're trying to change that, and I think I like it. Anybody ever heard of Sam Altman? Anybody ever heard of him? He pretty much owns Open AI. They do Chat GPT. Well, they're scheming up a rival application to LinkedIn, which I kind of like, but they're going to do it to where you have an account. Anybody use Chat GPT now? Well, they're going to do it to where you have an account, and if you put your resume up there, they apply for all the jobs for you. And they use AI, because I know a lot of people hate AI, but they're going to use AI that is even going to adjust your resume as needed to apply for jobs and recommend you for jobs to companies, not just based on what you put on your resume, but they're going to basically deduce what you can do based on what your resume. How many people like that? Give me a thumbs up if you like that. You don't have to go look for jobs anymore. You just put it on there. They do recommendations for you. They send your resume out. What? Nobody likes that. Is it just me? Am I the only lazy one that thinks this is amazing? Well, that's about to happen. I think it's probably going to come out next year or so. Thank you. I got one. I love it. I can't stand filling out applications. I hate it more than anything. You can have something that I can just push a button. Amen. Sign me up. But we'll see when it happens. All right. So I was having, I got too many screens up. All right. So yes, you will be doing performance evaluations. I don't know how many of you have ever had performance evaluations before, but that's going to be really big, guys, because these evaluations determine whether you get promoted or not. So take those evaluations seriously. Chapter 13 talks a little bit about that. It also goes into workspace etiquette, which we kind of know about, right? And then, of course, safety is huge for each of your individual institutions, and you're probably going to get a lot of safety training throughout the year, right? So just be aware of that. That's all chapter 13 really talks about. Here is your question for chapter 13, yesterday's questions, and I'm going to open it up when we get off here. But so just write it down now. I want to know, what is your biggest first date anxiety? What is your biggest first day anxiety? That's your question. What is your biggest first day anxiety? Go ahead, Ramon.
Okay, good morning.
Oh, Raymond, not sure which one.
It's Raman. I'm only seeing your first screen. I'm not sure if I'm the only one. I'm not seeing the
Yeah, I'm
question.
only seeing the first screen too. Imposter syndrome and reality.
Y'all ain't tell me. I done went through this whole thing and I'm just flipping through and you guys didn't see it. All right, so I think what's happening, because I'm on this new computer now. Can y'all see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let me see if I do something right quick. If you, uh-oh. What do you guys see now? Do you see the whole PowerPoint?
No.
You see our names.
It's so weird. See, that's what happens. See, I got this new computer and I don't know how to use it. Share window. I only want, oh, you know what's happening? Screen. I want the window and I want you to see this. You see the PowerPoint now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all see, do you see me clicking on the live conference question?
Yes.
Yeah, it's my fault because this is why I like using my old laptop. I know how
Is
to
this for
manipulate.
Tuesday or Monday?
This is from Monday. I'm gonna show you Tuesday in a minute. I want you guys to get this down. What is your biggest first date anxiety? You guys got this one? Yeah, you can't access it yet, Moses. I have to open it up. So I told you just write it down. We're all getting back on the system at the same time, so I need to open those back up. I'll open them up as soon as we're done. Okay? No, you're not submitting it for Tuesday, Nathaniel. Oh, see, y'all all texting now. Oh Lord, I'm in trouble. So now I gotta read these chats. No, so this is Mondays. I'm about to give you Tuesdays in a minute. Everybody has this one? So for today, we're gonna talk about chapter 14. So that was chapter 13, right? So this is chapter 14. Y'all let me know if y'all can see it. It says chapter 14. Somebody give me a yes or say something. Can y'all see it? Say yes or something, because I don't want to click off of it and mess it up. Can you
Yes,
see
we
chapter?
can see it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My wife's cheating, not
Yeah.
All right. So for chapter 14, it talks about starting your career, which is going to focus a little bit more on professionalism. It just talks about what is professionalism, the main reason why people call you professionals in the first place. Why is that? Watch this. Because they expect you to act that way. So when we talk about those soft skills and hard skills like we did in week 1, those soft skills, and y'all know what those are by now, people expect you to have them. One big one that people expect you to have is this thing called self-management skills. No one has to tell you to be on time, to be dependable, to have good time management, and the most important one, to have what we call emotional regulation. What does that mean? That means that you have to know yourself, you have to keep yourself in check. There will be deadlines, there will be people that you don't work well with. There will be, managers that change things 12 different times. You have to know what your triggers are, because in business, it's not like we're at home and we get to say, oh man, we don't like this. You're hurting my feelings. You don't get to do all those things, right? So as a professional, people expect you to know yourself. I know my triggers. I know my triggers. I know when I get frustrated. I That's why I know I don't do well in well, I do well in large teams, but it's only because I know what to do to regulate myself. Um, if anyone's ever been in on a team assignment before, or a team project, and you have all these different people, all these different personalities, one thing for me is always like to know what are the next steps, who's doing what's the deadline on it, right? So I can get very frustrated if those things are not being discussed. But I don't sit there and well, I had to learn how to check my face, let me be honest. Right. I had to learn, Cynthia, those are your personal triggers. Not everybody is dying because they don't know what the deadline is. So I have to regulate myself. I make sure I get my questions answered, but I also maintain my professionalism and not get frustrated because things don't go my way, because it's my personal preference to have things done a certain way. Now, I know we all know of someone, and maybe that someone could be us, where you've done those things in the past. Well, and when you're in a professional environment, people expect you to know yourself, know your triggers, know what you need to do to stay professional. So when it talks about emotional regulation, what does it say here on the screen? Learning how to control your own emotions, right? A lot of people lose their jobs because of this little thing right here. A lot of people lose their jobs. I even remember, I guess I'm going to go ahead and say it. President Trump, he told everybody that took that job, he says, now listen, if you come work for me, you're going to need some thick skin because they're going to give it to you, right? Go ahead, Anaris.
I don't know if you're trying to go through the PowerPoint, but it's still on the page of chapter 14, starting your career.
Oh my God. All right. See, this is my fault, y'all. That's what I get for using a new computer. Now, I did say I was using a new computer. Why is it not changing? See, I got to go back to my old computer. I apologize. But let me see if you can see it. Because you guys are seeing this. Let me see. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Where it says multi-generational workplace. Y'all see that? Okay.
Yes.
Now let me see if can you see me? Let me see if I change it. Can you see it? I'm gonna use my old computer next time, guys. Y'all see me change it?
Yes. That time I saw it.
Okay, it's my fault. I can't manipulate this computer like I do my old one. All right, but um I'll stay here. So when I talk about professionalism, I see you guys see that, right? And then self-management skills. Did that person get in? Um, y'all see here at the bottom where it talks about emotional regulation, right? So that is what I was talking about, like knowing yourself, controlling your own emotions, making sure that if you have questions, you ask, don't make these assumptions. I'm sure we know of a lot of people that are in this situation, right? We don't want to be that person. Now, the last thing too that is going to be very important is knowing that you're going to deal with people in different eras. You can see here on the screen, we got baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z. All of us fall within one of these generations. I know I'm a Generation Xer. Any Generation Xers in the building? Probably none of us are baby boomers, probably our parents, our grandparents, but most of us fall within the Y, X, Y, and Z. For X, 60 to 80s, that's what you are. If you are 81 and 96, you're a wire. And then if you 96 on, you're a Z, right? Why is that important? Because we all grew up in different eras. So that means a lot of times how you grow up has a lot to do with how you think. Is that not true? So when you are engaging with these people at work, whether you're the manager or they're the manager, that means a Zer can be the manager of a Y and a Y can be the manager of an X. It happens. You have to understand what motivates people, why people think the way that they think. I'm sure, right? Out. Listen, the military is big on that because you can have a sergeant major that is 50 years old, and then you have some kid graduating college and he went to ROTC and he's a captain and he's 21 years old and he's the boss over a 46-year-old. I saw that a lot in the military, right? And you have to take orders, whether this kid knows what he's doing or not. So things happen. So how does a 21-year-old motivate a 46-year-old, right? So you have to understand how people think, the generations, what they find important. But most importantly, how can you benefit from that? Diversity is good, right? I love working with people that were older than me. Anybody ever had a work best friend that was like way older than you or way younger than you? We all have those work besties, right? I know when I was in my 20s, like, yeah, all my work besties were like in 40s and 50s. They taught me everything. They were funny. They were so cool because they never took it. They let things roll off their back. When you're younger, what do we get stressed out about everything. If it wasn't for those older people, I would have been stressed, especially when I was in the military. I cherish them to this day. All my work besties were way older than me. Way older than me, right? And yeah, we all had our work wives and work whatevers too, right? They always made sure we ate and everything. Those things can be pretty cool, right? Those are cool parts about working in an office, though, right? So we love these multicultural workplaces. We love it. I love it. I always respect diversity because people think so differently. I always like how people think and how they approach problems because I'm a problem solver. I'm the person on the team that say, okay, how can we get this done? And if Sarah has a way to get it done faster and more efficiently, I love Sarah. Sarah's my best friend. And Sarah to come from a background that's totally different from mine. You think I care? That's why Sarah is great at what she does because she thinks different. I love diversity, man. Let me tell you something. That is how you get things done. It's always in my career and all the careers I've ever worked with. Luckily, I've been fortunate to have very, um, culturally diverse work environments, and it's been beautiful because I've learned so much from those environments. I've learned from young people. I learned from people that barely speak the language, but they're just so efficient at what they do. One thing I love when I was in South Korea, when I was in the military, we used to have to work in Seoul. I don't know if anybody was in the military, but and the South Korea requires all of their young adults to, and the same thing in Africa too, when I was in Ghana, to work for the government. And so they had to work with us. We used to call them katusas. And these people would be so efficient. I remember this one young man, and I think they go to college and they have to work, they have to be in the military, I guess it's part of socialism. And they worked at the military base with us. And I remember this one young man, he was showing me so much about the computer and how to be more efficient. And he was so good at it. I was like, thank you. Thank you. What? Man, I love diversity. So, me personally, I think that if you embrace diversity, especially if you are a supervisor or a manager, you own your own business, trust me, you're going to make way more money than those other people. Because who wants to work with somebody that all thinks the same? Can you imagine you trying to solve a problem and everybody has the same suggestion? Does that make sense? It makes no sense, right? or especially if you're trying to do something you've never done before and nobody can help you because nobody's ever done it before. They all think the same way. Like, do you really want to fail? Are you really trying not to be successful or competitive? Like, it blows my mind why people would not want a diverse workforce. If I was trying to sell some shoes, let me ask any of you, you trying to sell some shoes, you trying to sell it to one person, or you trying to sell it to as many people as possible? Which one makes more sense? So don't you want all those people on your team so they can tell you, hey, this is how you sell shoes to the women. Here's how you sell shoes to the men. Here's how you sell shoes to old people. Here's how you sell shoes to young people. Right? Like, are you going to know all that by yourself? No, you need people to tell you. That's the whole point of having a diverse workforce so that you can make money. Like, duh. But whatever, right? So my advice to you is to embrace as much diversity as possible. The more diversity you can embrace, the more money you will make. I promise you. All right. Here's your live conference question for today. Here's what I want you to do. Now that you're really thinking about, okay, man, I got this career going. I really need to think about the first company I want to work for. I want you to find a company in your career that you believe would make a good fit when you graduate. This is a company that would be a great fit for me. And I want you to find 3 things that are important to you. I don't care what they are. These are just some examples. It could be the location, how many people work there, potential for growth, you like their mission, how long they've been in business, just 3 different things about this company that you find important. All right? Give me the company and the 3 things that you find important. I'm afraid to switch off of here now. See, I thought I was doing so good with my other. Y'all can still see the screen, right? This is for today. This is for today. 3 things about this company that are going to be important to you. Maybe you want to move to California, so you want to make sure the company is global so you can transfer in 3 years. Who knows? All right, my friends, please try to get everything done today. I will be adjusting those dates to give you. I can't give you all of Thursday because I still got to have everything turned in Thursday night, but I'm going to try to give you until Thursday. I think Thursday at 5 is good. I mean, you only need, it's only one extra assignment from today. You should be fine. All right. Sounds good. What do you mean next Thursday, girl? We out of here this Thursday. Thursday is our last day of class. We're not trying to be here any longer, Brianna. This class is only 4 weeks. We're done. Y'all are done with me. You don't want me for another week, do you? I'm just reading the notes. We're out of here, my friends. All right, y'all. Thank you for your time. We are out of here this Thursday. Please, please, please no. Thursday is the last day of class at 10 p.m. sharp.
Are you able to open up Monday's assignment right after the meeting?
Yeah, as I'm about to do as soon as we get off.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're talking about the live session, right? I'm doing it right now.
Monday live attendance, yes.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Have a good day. Go ahead and stop the recording.